Hello, Yvonne Gaybauer here with my therapy room, and I'm going to be taking you along on my journey where I create my page for my word of the year. Now, what I've chosen as my word of the year is balance, and the reason I've chosen this is because I want to try to find some sort of balance this year between family and my art. Now, don't get me wrong, my family is extremely important to me, and my little grandbabies mean the world. And I would never sacrifice them for anything. But I still need to find somehow how to balance spending time with them, my children, daughters in law, all that kind of stuff, and still have time for my art and to grow in that area. Um, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do in retirement. So, yeah, kind of spending a year doing that. Now, this is a journal that I made, and it's made out of 9 by 12 envelopes, paper bags. There's some watercolor paper in there. Nothing is cut neat, it's just slapped together. It's not meant to be anything fancy. I quite often will just open it up to a page and throw my extra paint or sprays on there um, as I go along. So that's what this book is, and it's just a place for me to play, not worry. It's kind of take the pressure out of that wonderful blank page we seem to struggle with. And yep, A&W takeout. So yeah, half of a paper bag got in there. So yeah, this is the journal I kind of just play with. Punched some holes, strung some jute string through it, tied it up, and there it is. So I've been using it for a little while. Grab some of my chipboard letters that I'm going to use to spell out the word balance, and in a bunch of the different fonts that I had. Now they're not going to stay this color. I'm going to be gessoing them, but I hadn't decided which ones I wanted to use, so I thought I'll just grab whatever I find and figure it out after. So that is that. Now, in this book, you can kind of see some of the pages I played with. Now, a lot of these pages I didn't particularly like, and still don't know if I do, and that's okay. That's a page where I was experimenting with color and texture and string and jute and all different kinds of things to create texture on that page. And then the other page, I was playing with new stamps that I had received and kind of how that's going to work. That's a page where I used paint swatches. There's the same stencil I used on the other page. Cut out some magazine letters and spelt out a little saying there. So yeah, just some odds and ends pages. Yeah, that page I'm not so fond of. I really don't know if I like the colors in that one, but whatever. It is what it is. So this is the page I'm going to do, and it is half of a paper bag. It's very thin, and this is what I'm going to use. Grab my gesso brush, and that is just one of those cheap plastic cutting boards you get from the dollar store, and that's an idea that I got from my friend Karen Burchell. So it works awesome and just cleans up like a darn. This is gesso from, held it upside down, from Walmart. You don't have to buy expensive supplies. When I first started art journaling, I actually made my own gesso, and it worked fine. Unless I'm starting to, I don't know, sell my art and all that kind of stuff, I might look at buying a better quality. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, you don't have to go out and spend an arm and a leg on products you're going to use in an art journal that's just for you. So anyways, just going to gesso this page. And I don't make you sit and watch me gesso the whole page. I actually do pause it here, and I cut out that footage. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is, again, you don't need all the tools. I'm going to create some texture on this page using simply the gesso that's there already and my heat gun. Yeah, my hands are already getting all full of ink. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. So simply, yeah, gesso and a heat gun. So holding your heat gun close to the page. Now be careful you don't start your page on fire, but you can see how the gesso will start to bubble. And those bubbles stay there after it's dried. So you can create a whole page of bubble texture, or just in certain spots. simply by using your heat gun and your gesso. Simple as that. Yeah, that spot was wet. And my pens ended up all full of gesso, and yeah, not a biggie. So anyways, I continued to draw that page. I put some of that texture in a couple of places as I was going along. And yeah, playing with my camera. It's so hard to get a page to focus when you've got a white background. So I had some challenges there. Now this is a little bin that I have of odds and ends. It's stuff that's left over. I punched circles out of some leftover stuff. So I'm simply going through it because I want to create some more texture on my background. And so I'm kind of pulling stuff out of the bin as I fumble through it, just as some ideas of what I might use. A lot of it doesn't end up on the page, but that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, anytime I've got anything that I've cut out of a scrapbook page or leftover book paper, tissue paper, whatever, napkins, it goes in that little bin. So what I decided to do was put my Tim Holtz tissue paper on the page to add some more depth, some interest, some background colors that are going to show through. And I just used my gel medium and adhered it to the page. Now I've got an old brush. That's all I use it for is gel medium because, yeah, I find it hard to eventually wash all of the gel medium out of the brush. So yeah, anyway, grabbing my color wheel and going to 5 colors in a row, which are your Inaglos colors, and grabbing some of my Lindy's Stamp Gang sprays in the colors that I've chosen. Now I might use them all, I might not. I just yank what I thought I would like to use, and I don't ever use red and orange and yellow, so that's another reason why I kind of went with those. So anyways, there's some of them are flat Fabio, some of them are starbursts, and yeah, so I start with an initial layer, grab my heat gun, and I dry the first layer. Now I'll move the book, I'll try to get some drippage. You know, you can, sometimes you can take the heat gun and manipulate the sprays to go in certain places. That works a little bit, but you get better results just picking your book up and just tilting it back and forth, banging it on the desk. I have all sorts of techniques that I use. So again, another layer. So I do a layer, I dry it. I do a layer and I dry it. And that way you don't end up with a bunch of mud being created. Here I'm trying to zoom in to show you the texture. Yeah, focus. Yeah, there it is. So you can still see the texture that I created with the heat gun. Yeah, that one never did. Just trust me, it's there. The bubbles are still there. Anyway, so just again, I keep adding layers. I take the lids off and splatter. I love splatter. I love drippage. I pretty much like anything that grunges up the page. Yeah. So this is all I'm doing. Some of those drops blend right into the background of the page. You don't really notice them unless you really look, but it does add more depth to the page. Each layer you add adds more depth to the page. So this is all I'm doing. Adding a layer, drying, adding a layer and drying. I thought I should add some more purple up in that top right corners. I had some in the bottom just to kind of balance the page out a little bit. I love how you can still see the images from the tissue paper in the background. So there I'm just gessoing the letters just on my, and you know what, I don't spend money on craft mats either. I did when I very first started, and heck, they're way too expensive. Go buy the baking sheets from Walmart or your dollar store. Honestly, they work the same. Now here I'm taking all of my reds because I want to build up just different layers of colors on my word balance. And so that's all I do. I keep adding a layer, drying, adding a layer, drying. I should have held it up to the camera longer, I apologize. But what it's doing is it's almost making the letters look like they're marbled or like water drops on them. I guess marbled is probably a better way of explaining it when you do this technique where you add a layer and dry it, add a layer and dry it. Because each layer sort of reactivates underneath, but anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm doing. And I always use a coffee filter because I do not want to waste any of that yummy spray. So when I'm done, I've got this coffee filter of this wonderful layers of red that I can use in a different project. Now I put my letters on the page, arrange them how I want them arranged, but because my page, my background is so red, the word kind of just disappears into the background. So I decided to add some more purple. No, I don't know. I mean, it turned out okay. I'm okay with it. But I think I would have liked to have had a little bit of red added back in, because I did end up bringing the letters out a little bit with some charcoal pencil, and you'll see that. So I grabbed my heavy duty. I don't use, this is where I wouldn't use like a Mod Podge. You probably could. It'll work fine. You just have to hold it down longer. I'm not that patient. So I do use my Liquitex gel medium. Just because I find it adheres faster and holds better, but I am sure Mod Podge would be just as effective on something like this. So yeah, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of tilting the letters back and forth, making them look like they're balancing on top of each other. I can thank my friend Karen Birchall for that idea. Her and I are always throwing ideas back and forth when we're doing pages. I love having somebody in the same small city as me that we can bounce ideas off of, and like she calls it, we have a creation ship. I love that word. So now I'm adding more splatters, just trying to build on the layers on the page. So I kind of grab a few of the different colors, just tap on the lid, bang it on. See, that good technique. That's a very technical technique. Pick up the page and bang it on the table. Yeah. Anyway, it works. It gets a little bit of drippage happening. So there we go, done. Now I want these words to stand out a little bit more. So what I do is I take my Stabilo All pencil, and it's like a charcoal pencil. You can blend it out somewhat with your finger, but it really works well when you activate it with water. Now, I never ever had this when I first started. I had an ordinary charcoal pencil. Worked wonderful, and it would have worked here just as well. So yeah, so all I'm doing is I take a water brush, I just actually took a paintbrush, a liner brush here, and activated the charcoal pencil. And you can blend it out as far as you want. You can make it as dark as you want by adding more layers of the pencil. Yeah, I mean, it's a very versatile. I didn't like it when I first got it because it was almost too black, I found. But the more I used it and the more I played with it, the more I fell in love with it. And this is usually what I buy now. What I use now when I do want to add some definition, bring something out from the background, I'll use my Stabilo All pencil. Now here I just grabbed my Permaball pen, and I'm just making little stitch marks. Again, just to add some more interest, some more dimension to the page. You hear me saying that a lot, but that's what it is. It's adding dimension, right? So I kind of sound like a broken record sometimes. But now here I chose my quote I wanted to use. And what I do is I go to my computer and I do a bunch of different fonts, different sizes, and then choose the one that I like. Again, another idea I got from my friend Karen Birchall. She's amazing. So I'm just arranging it on my page. Where do I like it? Where don't I? It's too white for me, and I rarely leave these that I've printed out white. So what I do is I take it off the page, put it onto another coffee filter. I didn't film that part. And I just lightly spritzed it with a couple of my different colors, just so it wasn't stark white. So this is where you see it going back onto the page. So yeah, just adhering it. I don't show all of that. And here's where I go around with my Permaball and also with my white Signal pen. Not neat at all. I scribble around these because, again, it's not a neat page. It's a scribbled page, so I kind of want it to be a little bit cohesive, right? So just continuing to go around all of the words. I go back and forth, my black, the white, black, the white. And then here's where I take my, now you could use your charcoal pencil here. You could use your Stabilo All pencil. It really wouldn't matter. And I'm just outlining the back of it. And what I did was I used my Pitt pen. And it's India ink, but it has got some blending time to it. So anyways, yeah, there's my page, all finished. I like it. I like it. So yeah, thank you very much for coming along on my little journey. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Um, Subscribe. That's how you're going to get email notifications when I upload a new video. I will put my social media links underneath so you can follow me, stalk me, whatever. And yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, my fingers. Thank you very much for coming along on my little journey. I very much appreciate it. And love to read comments. I do reply to them. So yeah, again, like I said, thank you very much, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.